All right, we live in the age of AI, right? So what if I told you that your single most powerful marketing tool, your most effective networking strategy, isn't some complex algorithm or a huge budget, but it's your own internal state of being? Yeah, today we're gonna dive into a pretty radical system that connects your mindset directly to your message. So let's just start with a big question. Think about the most magnetic communicators in the world. People like Steve Jobs, Oprah. What's the common thread? What's the secret code they all seem to be operating on, whether they even realize it or not?
Well, the person who actually dedicated himself to cracking this code is a guy named Mike Hayes. And get this, he's not some guru. His background is as a two-time Peabody Award-winning researcher and documentarian for NBC. It was literally his job to figure out what makes communication work. And what he found was this single, profound principle that's underneath it all.
So let's get right to the heart of it, the communicator's secret code. What Mike Hayes discovered is that the key isn't a bunch of tips or tricks. No, it's a fundamental, ground-up shift in how you see reality itself.
And it's all powered by this one core concept, the law of assumption. Simply put, it says that whatever you assume to be true, and I mean really, truly feel that it's true on a consistent basis, well, that thing has no choice but to harden into fact and become your physical reality. It's not wishful thinking. It's described as a creative law, kind of like gravity. And here's where it gets kind of wild. The core idea is this. Your consciousness isn't just watching reality go by, it is the only reality. The entire outside world, all the people, the circumstances, it's all just a mirror reflecting back to you the state that you hold inside. This little chart just makes it all so clear. Look, on the left, that's where most of us live, right? We're hoping, we're waiting, we're trying, we're seeking permission. It's a state of lack. But on the right, that's the big shift. Instead of living for some future goal, you start living from the end, as if it's already done. You're not hoping, you're assuming. You're not asking for permission, you are the authority. You're moving from a feeling of lack to a state of fulfillment, right here, right now.
Okay, so that's the theory, and it sounds incredible, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Let's look at a fascinating real-world test case that puts this law up against what seems like totally impossible odds.
So the story is about this teacher from the 20th century named Neville Goddard, who was one of the key figures Mike Hayes studied. Now picture this. It's the 1930s. We're in the middle of the Great Depression. He's stuck in New York City with absolutely no job and no money. And all he wants is to take this expensive steamship trip all the way home to his family in Barbados. Talk about impossible, right?
So what did he do? He didn't focus on the money. He didn't imagine finding a wallet on the street. No, he went straight to the end. His inner action, his only action, was to fall asleep every single night, imagining he was already there, sleeping in his family's home in Barbados. He lived from that reality inside his mind. So what happened? The outer result? Completely out of the blue, his brother, who had no idea he was doing this, felt this sudden, unexplainable urge to send him a prepaid first-class steamship ticket and some spending money. The how just appeared.
Now look, a story about a steamship ticket is amazing, but it can feel like it's a million miles away from our digital world today. So this is where we build the bridge. This is how you start broadcasting your new reality, right now.
And this is really the key question that Mike Hayes wanted to answer. How in the world do you take this internal, creative law from the 1930s and actually use it to build a brand or grow your business or just get your message out there in today's crazy, fast-paced world?
And the answer is something he calls the quantum reach code. This is the practical, modern-day toolkit that's built on top of that law of assumption. It's a system designed specifically to take that internal, assumed reality of yours and turn it into a clear, tangible message that you can effectively share with the world. So how does this code actually work? Well, it starts with something called Gamma. That's guided AI media. Think of it like using AI as your creative partner to just sharpen your message until it is razor sharp, cutting through all the jargon to get to the real emotional core of your story. Then you embed that story into media cards. These are basically simple QR codes that are a direct doorway to your story. It's like a business card that gives people your entire assumed reality, not just your phone number. And the whole goal is to build what he calls a perpetual media machine, an automated system where your story, your message is just always out there working for you 24/7. And here's the crucial point. The entire system, the whole code, is designed to turn you into a human broadcast tower. See, when you first assume your new reality on the inside, and then you use these tools to broadcast that clear message on the outside, You start to naturally attract the people, the opportunities, the clients you want without ever having to chase them. It's a total flip of the script.
But here's the thing. All those external tools, they're only as powerful as the internal engine that's driving them. So let's bring this all back home and look at the simple daily practice you need to make this your new default state of being.
It really just boils down to this simple 3-part discipline to literally retrain your brain. First, you start your day with the morning assumption. You just wake up and marinate in the feeling of your wish already being fulfilled. Then, during the day, you practice midday vigilance. You just refuse to entertain doubt. Anytime it creeps in, you gently return to that feeling of fulfillment. And finally, before you go to sleep, you use evening revision to mentally rewrite any part of your day that didn't align with your new reality.
So, ultimately, after all the techniques and all the tools are stripped away, it all comes down to a single, powerful choice. A choice about your own identity.
And here is the profound truth at the very center of all of this. That feeling that the power was somewhere out there, in a person, in a job, in a bank account, that was always an illusion. The creative power was and has always been inside you.
I absolutely love this quote because it just captures the entire mindset shift perfectly. See, this isn't about begging or pleading with the universe for something you feel like you don't have. No, it's an authoritative declaration you make to yourself about who you have now decided to be.
And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. This entire process is about a fundamental shift in your identity. You have to let go of being the person who just wishes and hopes things were different, and you have to fully step into and become the person who simply assumes their desire is already a fact.
So, we'll end right where we started, but this time with a challenge for you. If your assumptions truly do create your reality, then the only question left is a deeply personal one. What new reality will you dare to assume? Starting right now.